Hello everyone, CommandrAwesome here, and today I am here with Periscope Games, the developers of the up-and-coming Squad Modification, Scriptum, the Bloody Seventh. How are you doing today, guys?
Yeah, we're doing good.
Awesome.
All right, and would you guys like to introduce yourselves and tell us a little bit about yourselves?
Okay, well, I'll start. My name is Braze. I'm lead developer on Scriptum. I do a bit of 3D modeling, texturing, shading, tiny bit of level design as well, and as well as managing the team with our Childer, who is the lead as well.
All right, my name's Ryken. I'm a level designer for Scriptum. I mainly just create the levels that are going to be implemented into the game, and just using references and real data for that, and trying to get it as accurate as possible.
Okay, and I'm Scrub. I'm the audio designer for Scriptum. Again, like Ryken, using real life references and stuff to try and get our weapons sounding as they should do, and also using the way that Squad has designed its sound to sort of get the same feel. So that's me.
Next question is, so tell us about Scriptum, the Bloody Seventh, why you chose that name, and how you guys came together to make this entire project happen.
Okay, well, I'll start with the name. We chose that name because we like the idea of having two factions sending mail to their family, friends, wife, and everything. And the Scriptum name, we kind of liked that idea because it was something slightly different. It was not based with hero something in the name, or like brother in arms and all the cheesy names that we were not really into that kind of names. So yeah, that's why we decided to go with Scriptum. And the Bloody Seventh, it's because it's the seventh bridge on the Operation Market Garden. It's the latest bridge to capture, and things went terribly wrong for the British Army. So that's why we called it the Bloody Seventh, because usually English people say bloody like every single sentence. So we like that idea as well.
Yeah, we bloody do.
Yeah, there you go.
That is very true. I hang with a lot of British people, and that is very true. Okay, so how easy did Offworld Industries make this modding process? Are you guys working hand in hand with Offworld to make this mod, or are they just saying, here's your mod tools and just go with it?
Well, from my end, they were really into the idea of our project. I mean, we started with doing some how can I say, we posted a few things on the forums, the official forums, and then they came forward and asked us a few things about how we were seeing the project, and then we invited most of the developers on our Discord, so we talk with them every day, and they actually see what we do. So they are with us on Discord. They don't have access to our content, but they do comment and they do give us like ideas how to do stuff, because they learned stuff when they were doing Squad, and we are learning stuff while we are doing Scriptum, so it makes sense to avoid the mistake they did in the past. So they are trying to remind us sometimes, like, hey, be careful when you use this, because we had this issue in Alpha 7, for instance, and all. So they are really, really helpful to us, and I think I'll let the others talk about it.
Yeah, basically, I came into Unreal SDK without knowing anything. I think it was back in March. I think I tried like fiddling about with it, and it was actually quite easy to get into. It's very easy to learn, and I started making a map. I think it was just a forest type map, and I posted it into the modding hub forum for Squad, and Breeze saw what I did, and he obviously liked it, and he asked me to join up and just test out and see if I had potential. So, I thought I would never have this opportunity, and here I have it. So I'm quite lucky, and also it means that you have to work quite. You have to be dedicated, and you have to be willing to learn as well. But it's definitely possible.
Yeah, and I, similar to Ryken, I came into UE4 having not used it before, and this is actually my first game audio design project. I joined the team in around July, I think, mid to late July, after seeing what had been posted. Well, I saw the teaser trailer, went onto the website, emailed Braze, sort of told him a bit about myself. And then, yeah, like Raikane, taught myself how to use the SDK myself. With audio, it's a bit different. There are a few processes you've really got to nail down. And it's a cumulative process. So as I've learned more, our stuff just got better and better and better. And yeah, and I've had a lot of help from the developers as well, in terms of making sure I'm not, doing something wrong or this is going to break, whatever. Even though I haven't had direct contact with Anders, who's the lead sound designer at Offworld, but hopefully in the future we can establish some sort of communication with each other. But so far I've had fantastic help from the devs, and seeing them in our Discord every day, sort of commenting and giving feedback, is a really nice thing to see on a project like this.
Oh, that's great. That's great. It's good that they care.
Yeah, it is.
They really do care.
Yeah. So, I mean, as far as, this is all in very early stages, if I'm correct.
Yes, very early, but we've been working on the project since February of this year, and I think we are doing all wonderful progress, but there is still a lot of road ahead.
Okay. Are you guys updating your mod as Squad is updating? So, as they add vehicles, are you able to add vehicles to yours, or do they just give you that specific technology to push your mod further?
At the moment, we don't have anything different from anyone else on the modding hub. So we have the exact same SDK. So we got the vehicles when everybody else got them. So there is nothing specific on our end that we have that any other developers or any other modders would have. We have the exact same build. We do have a lot of modelers. So when the vehicles get released in the SDK, it was a matter of understanding how they did it, and then the day after or 2 days after, we had our own vehicles in the game playable.
Oh man, that's awesome. So in one of the developer blogs, I did see an airplane. I saw the inside of it and I saw it flying. Is that something that's happening right now with you guys? Or is that just pretty much just what you guys plan on doing in the future?
I know what part you're talking about. So we have actually at the moment 2 planes. We have the C-47. So the main idea right now, it's an idea because we don't have a full access to the tools we would need to actually do it. But the idea is you spawn in the plane and then you jump from the door. And as you jump, you go through a cloud, and the cloud would be some sort of transition, and then you will finish you would be teleported to the actual map, and you would finish the last, let's say, 150 meters flying down with the parachute, and you could steer left or right and decide where you want to land. But again, that's the plan. It's not done yet, and we are missing a few features from the SDK to be able to properly do it.
That sounds incredible. Oh man, I hope you guys are able to do that. All right, so I'm going to move on to some gameplay questions now. What nations do you guys plan on putting into the game?
Right now is the British paratroopers, the 1st Airborne that was parachuted the west of Arnhem. And we also have the 30th Corps of British Army and Tank. That's for the Allies faction. And on the German faction, we have the Waffen SS and the regular Wehrmacht army.
Okay. Are you guys planning on doing Russian or American forces sometime in the future?
That's a discussion we very often have on Discord. There is nothing stated yet. Nothing is started at all. I've seen some people on some videos saying that we are doing the Americans. We are not. It's something we have in our head, but it's a lot. I can't stress it enough. It's a lot of work to do a faction and to do something. So technically, it would be easier for us to do let's say the American paratroopers, because they were in Market Garden. So that means we wouldn't have to do another set of houses and environment and stuff, because if we do the Russian, then we have to add all the uniforms and all the vehicles, and then we would have to remodel the entire environment to match to the Russian landscape. So right now is British and German. We want to fully every single vehicle that were in Market Garden. So the list is quite big. We've done a lot of vehicles already, but yeah, we want to fully cover the British and the German.
All right, sounds good. Your assets on your website are absolutely beautiful. Hands down, you guys have some of the best assets I've seen in a game. How long does it take to actually create an asset and implement it into the actual game?
That's very depending on who is actually doing it, but on average for a vehicle, let's say a tank, I think it's for the high poly would be around 6 to 7 days to model it, and then another 5 days to do a low poly, and then texture, I mean, in substance, like something like half a day.
Okay.
But again, I just want to say something about people saying that we are faster than the developers. That's absolutely not true, because we don't develop the code. We don't do as much coding as they are doing. We're just doing, let's say, the overlaying thing. So it's I'd like people to stop saying it's very nice for the team. We feel good about it, but what we are doing is really the paint on top of everything.
Sure. Just like a skin, pretty much.
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay. Now, will there be any mechanics that differ from squad in the game, such as, like, we'll say, like melee or anything like that? Will there be anything, being that it is World War II and there was a lot of that close quarters combat, will there be anything different from squad that you guys are going to be presenting?
You've seen some things already. Let's say the towing, that's something we already have in game, and it's working pretty well. So right now you can jump into a Morris, like it's a big car from the British, and then you just go close to an ATG and you can tow it, and then you can drive away, and then you can actually move or push the ATG as you are standing inside. So that's something that is not in squad, and I don't think it's planned to be, or at least I never heard of it.
Yeah, I did notice that in the trailer as well. That was pretty interesting. And what about, is it going to be the same as squad, basically, in the sense that you're going to be having fobs, you're going to be having emplacements, sandbags, and different type of objects that you can place as a squad leader?
Yes, right now we are basically just replacing what the actual fob is in squad is basically a radio, and we changed that to be a tent with a table and then a radio on the table. And so the concept of it stays the same. We just wanted it to be slightly bigger, so we can't hide a FOB behind a bush or behind a tree. We want it to be like something clearly visible, and you would have to defend it more than trying to hide it.
That sounds really good. I really like the sound of that. I don't know how many times I've come across an FOB planted in a bush or actually up in a tree. So that sounds great. It's nice to hear.
Other than that, we are
Mhm.
replacing the rally point with a tent instead of bags. So you've seen it in the dev blog as well. So as soon as you see a tent, it's going to be a rally point for us.
Okay, beautiful.
And feature-wise, we added, like some of you saw it, and on the dev blog there is an additional weapon. It's the canteen. So basically, you can drink from the canteen and you get your stamina back, and you would have to fill it. So there are some special places on the map where you can fill your canteen, and then you can get your stamina back. Because we read a lot of things on books and documentary about how British or German got killed trying to fill their canteen, because they were supposed to be only 2 or 3 days in Arnhem, and it was way longer than expected. So the food and the drink got an issue, and sniper were covering those fountains. So I think it could be a nice and a new touch to squad.
That's interesting. Yeah, that is something definitely fresh. Let's see. Can you tell us what maps we can expect? So I guess, like you were saying, what was it, Arnhem you said that was going to be coming through? Like, what are we going to see, things that, we wouldn't normally see, like certain specific maps per se?
At the moment, we have 4 maps lined up. The first one you've seen in the devlog was Ilsum. Like a few weeks ago, we posted like someone driving around in the map. So it was farms, fields. I mean, it was really like the countryside. No big cities, and that was the day one. That's why the C-47 were flying above the spawn area. So that's practically the same kind of map we have in Squad at the moment. So it's only just landscape and nothing crazy. Maybe Raikan have something to say about it.
Yeah, basically all we have right now is basically the countryside near Oosterbeek and near Hilsum as well. Basically, we just tried to get the real life data to match up as closely as possible and accurately as possible as well, to try and immerse the players, you know. But we also need to be careful of the gameplay elements of the game as well. We can't have the terrain obstructing gameplay. We need to have that over anything else, I think, as well.
Yeah, in addition, we found on Google and some other documentary website, we have a lot of very, very accurate map from 1943 and another one from 1944. So let's say our map are 95% accurate to how it was back in the day.
We've also got a dedicated, is he a historian or what is he, Breeze? Advisor, yeah.
Oh yes, we have. Yeah, his name is funny. His name is Normandy 1944. So you can see what he likes, and yeah, he's a very nice guy. Really focused into the project. And every time we do a camo, he's going to give us a feedback like, "Hey guys, check the camo. It's not faded enough. The painting, it was made with like spray, or so it have to be a bit more diffuse." And then he comes another day and saying like, "Hey, yeah, that camo it's too reddish. It should be green."
Yeah.
So he's. I think we haven't told him we were doing a game. I think he thinks we are doing a BBC documentary or something.
Oh well, that's good.
Wow,
He's
that's
been
funny.
very helpful. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I'm just having fun. He's really nice, and it's great to have him on board.
That's great. That's great. Now, will you guys have different game modes other than squad? Will you have something other than like attack or advanced and secure, or well, let's say insurgency, but in a different way? I mean, would you guys have some other type of game modes planned out?
Yeah, we do. We're not quite ready to talk about all of them, but what I can tell as of today is we are planning to have one game mode which would be called something like historically accurate, or something historical. So we have how do you say, report of battles. So we know exactly how many tanks, how many Tiger, how many SDK FZ7 were at this exact location. So we might do something with proper numbers. So let's say the British were undermanned in some reason, then that's how it's going to be in the game. So I know there are some hardcore player out there and they want something like super accurate. So we will do that mode. So let's say the Panzer Division was north of Arnhem with 2 Tigers and 1 Panzer IV, then that's how it's going to be. And if the British had only 1 Piat and 1, I don't know, like 2 Piat and just riflemen and mines, that's how it's going to be.
Okay. All right. And so what about different variations for the maps? So will you have nighttime variations, or will you have weather effects like rain, snow, anything like that?
Well, rain maybe, but snow very unlikely. It's September in Netherlands, so that's not going to be something. But we have a lot of report of battle at night, so I think it should not be too complicated to have a nighttime map, yes, or change the sun or the time of the day. I'm not saying it's going to be dynamic. I don't think it's going to, but I mean, if we can, let's do it, but I don't think so. And yeah, it will be depending on missions, just like it is in Squad at the moment.
Okay. And what about buildings? Will the buildings be enterable? Will you be able to garrison a building and set up a defense, such?
Yeah, that's the big one. What you see so far in devlog, none of those buildings are enterable. We've started what was it, like 3 weeks ago, doing modular building. So we just model like one wall, and we model a different type of roof, so we can make our own building exactly the same way Squad is doing. So yes, building will be enterable. I'm not saying they are going to be enterable on day one of release, but it's definitely going to be on the list.
Okay. Okay. How about, all right, for sound? We all know sound plays a huge part in a military shooter. Like, considering how old these weapons are, how did you guys obtain these sounds for each weapon?
I'll take this one. So the way we've done it is we do have access to a couple of different sound libraries at the moment. We've recently just acquired a Second World War tank sound library, which is absolutely incredible. So I'll be working with that to basically bring vehicle audio to our vehicles at the moment. We're just using the BTR and Humvee audio as placeholders. In terms of weapons, we have a Second World War weapon library, but I've also been sourcing samples and stuff from around the web and from personal recordings I've done, and trying to again use references to make sure that everything is accurate as possible. It's quite a challenging thing to do because a lot of samples you find online of Second World War weapons aren't always of great quality or are quite old recordings. So obviously you're not going to get the fidelity that you're going to want to actually use in design. And we can't really use anything from Vanilla Squad really because it just doesn't fit the say you try to take the current sound of the M4 and stick it onto an STG-44, for example, it's just not going to work because one, it doesn't sound anything like what you would expect an STG to sound like, and also it just doesn't fit the visuals of what we have with our Second World War models. So rest assured, we are using accurate samples to be able to recreate the soundscape of Operation Market Garden. And just one quick thing I want to say. It's great to hear feedback from the little videos we post of the sound design and in the forums and everything. So any feedback we can get for that is incredibly helpful. And I am really trying to model our soundscape on vanilla squads and making sure every weapon sounds as powerful and as terrifying as possible. So recently, in the last couple of weeks, I've been bringing up all the weapons and sort of all the environmental sounds up to how they are in squad at the moment, and also working sort of with psychoacoustics to make sure that you're not just hearing a gunshot, you're feeling it as well, which is currently something that squad has really managed to achieve well. The fact that when you're firing an M249 or you're firing the M203 or an RPG, you can really feel it, and that's what sets squad apart audio wise to many other AAA titles that don't quite get sound in a sort of war environment. So rest assured, I'm doing my utmost. But like I said, I haven't actually got direct communication with Offworld Industries sound designer currently, but that may be subject to change in the future.
Okay. How about voiceovers? Where will they be done as well? I mean, will they be in their native tongue as well?
In terms of voiceovers, we have one or two guys, German voice actors that are actually very, very talented, and we're redesigning things like FOB audio to be loyal to the time, obviously. So we won't be using the US and the Russian current FOB sounds. I've currently implemented the ASUS FOB audio at the moment, and that's sounding just how we want it. We've got fantastic lines read by our German voice actor, and the same will be done for the British as well. In terms of voiceover during gameplay, that's something we're not entirely sure about yet because we're not really sure if it's going to be done within squad itself anyway. So
yeah, I have some concern about that, because what I like so much about Squad is you are the one doing the talking. So if I'm talking with my own voice and then I have some recording going over myself and coming from the same character, I'm really not into that idea.
Okay.
Yeah, that makes sense. And also in a gameplay sense of view, problems with some games like Battlefield, you'll be running around, you don't know you've got enemy enemies around you, and then for some reason you hear the opposite team, like a guy from the opposite team shout in their language or whatever, and then you automatically know they're there.
Yeah, you
which
just give
doesn't-
their position away. Yeah.
Exactly, which does not fit within
It's very true.
the squad.
Very true.
Yeah, if you are behind the enemy line, you're not going to yell reloading in front of everyone. That makes no sense.
Exactly, yeah. So anything that we do that we are positive we're going to have voiceovers like FOBs and stuff like that will be done according to the period. So it will be, German and English with the right accents and the right language and the right sort of technological constraints of the sound back then.
A lot
So
of
the
Scottish.
FOBs, a lot of Scottish, yeah.
Don't ask me to do it, please. Thank you.
You'll definitely not. But things like even the little details, like the static on the radio for our FOBs is not the same static that we have in Vanilla Squad at the moment. It's done a bit of research on it and tried to recreate the static as it would be using those old radios, and little bits of Morse code and stuff like that. So little details like that I'm trying to concentrate on, alongside big explosions and tanks and stuff, really.
Cool. In what way will you guys be implementing communication or voice over IP? Will you just have, we'll just say radio voice over IP, or will you have designated radio personnel that can talk to another squad's radio personnel? Like, naturally there wasn't radio communication amongst everybody in World War II. So how do you guys plan on taking care of that?
Well, because we only have the SDK, like everyone, there is nothing set. But I can tell what I have in my mind is, for instance, something I would really like is, let's say I'm a driver of a tank and I want to talk to someone that is outside my tank, then I would have to open my hatch, the hatch, and then I could talk directly to someone. So if the commander wants to talk to someone that is outside the tank, then he would have to open the hatch. There is no way you can hear someone from inside the tank with the noise those things make. So yeah, I would love this to be implemented in Scriptum. And we had this talk as well about, do we do squad radio, or do we only have direct communication because we only have one? We can have a radio operator who can talk to other squad, but the squad leader was always giving his order to the radio operator, who was then telling this same order to the other squad. So we're not entirely sure how we want to do it, but yeah, I think we might change a few things from the default squad.
Okay. All right, so I know it's early, but will there be any testing dates, public testing dates?
It is early indeed, because as you may know, or I know some of you guys know, is we can't compile the game right now because we are missing a few DLL from Offworld. So it's not that we don't want to say a date to someone, it's just we don't have it.
Okay. And I guess that goes along with a release date. You obviously have no idea, is that correct?
Yes, we don't know. Technically, that's something I like to say to the guys in the team, because we have a very strict recruitment pipeline, like our hierarchy in the team. So the core members, they have access to the build, and technically, as it is, the game is playable like right now. We haven't been able to play test it in multiplayer, but when we play solo in it, there are almost everything we need to play.
Okay. And all right, is there anything else that you'd like to tell us about before we end this?
Guys?
I think I explained all I wanted to talk about in terms of how feedback is important for audio, and
Yeah.
I'm trying to be faithful to squad basically in that respect.
Yeah, I think same what Scrub said is basically, if we get feedback, we can work on that and make the game even better. So as long as we get feedback from people and let us know, if we've got anything that's out of place or anything, then that will help us make the game better.
But at the same time, be courteous about it. It's not easy.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Don't just comment on YouTube and say this is wrong, that's shit, because that's not helpful.
Constructive criticism.
Yeah, exactly. Constructive criticism, give us references and stuff, because that's the way this works.
Where is the best way for the community to reach you guys and post things that they see and want and have ideas about?
I think the easiest at the moment is probably the official forum from Squad. We have a topic there. It's quite active. People encourage us and give us ideas and just ask questions. So I think that's the best place to ask.
Yeah, the
I'm
forum's
also-
fantastic, and Discord is really good.
Yeah,
as well.
I'm also
Or
on
Facebook.
Reddit as well. Reddit, I go
Mhm.
on Reddit on the squad subreddit. So
Yeah, I'm constantly
there as
on
well.
that. And both the Discord channels that the squad have, the squad community, and if you're into the technical side of modding, there's a squad modding hub as well, and it's quite easy to find the links to those around. So there's quite a few ways of contacting us if needs be.
All right, well, that's great. I really want to thank you guys for taking the time talking with us and sharing more details about Postscriptum. I know that there are many of us who are really looking forward to this. There's a lot of people who are very impatient, such as myself. I am
So are we. I mean,
really
we haven't been able to play test it, so we are super hyped about our own project.
We just want to shoot each other, basically. Yeah.
plans.
Okay, well, great. And for the viewers, make sure you guys stay tuned to my channel for future updates on Postscriptum, and make sure that you send these guys everything that they need. If you have any ideas or concerns or comments about any footage that they release, make sure you go to the forums, Reddit, and you post your ideas, but keep it constructive. And thank you guys so much. I really appreciate your time. You guys have been amazing.
Thank you.
Talk about us
Thank-
to your friends.
Yeah.
People to know us.
Thank you for having us. Thank you.
All right,
thank you,
well,
Ed.
thank you.
Cheers.
And we'll catch you guys on the next one.
Sure. Yeah.
See ya.